And just like that, here we are again, reviewing the original Sex and the City, the OG, the one that started it all, the one that we are going to remain reviewing each season episode by episode until we are done because as I've noted before, and just like that has disappointed us so greatly. So it's time for us to go back to the nostalgia, back to the time that we can actually laugh and smile and feel good. And let me tell you something. I'm going to be honest with you all. I am having the best time of my life going back and reviewing this for you all. I have watched the original series so many times. I've gotten burnt out on it. Okay. I have the original DVDs that are all battered and bruised on the inside of the covers. I thank God it's on streaming. I pretty much stopped going back to the original series once and just like that started because the enragement that I had with that show, it was becoming to the point that I was hate watching. I really was from season one, day one to the end. And you can check it out in my playlist, all the reviews and rants. And it disappointed me so greatly that I never thought I would actually go back and review the original series. And I have to tell you, thank you all for the push. I am enjoying myself. I'm smiling. And it's something that I haven't done for this show for a long time. And I know that, and just like that is going to be out there in the ethers for the rest of our lives. But we can go back and to a time that we all felt something. And that's why I'm doing this series, because it's not just about reviewing it. It's about trying to make the connective tissue between what we were believing at that time and where we were at that time, which is amazing how much I think I remember, because remembering is subjective. But I can remember a lot of the things that happened in my life at that time, which is the journey that we're going to go through and what you guys are going to share with me when you engage in the comments. I love to hear all your stories of where you were back then. So I think that's important too. And to bring some joy back to YouTube, because I would love to tell you that, and just like that is the only show or movie that is being hate watched, but it isn't. And I don't know about you, but my homepage, I feel like my homepage is broken because I have gotten almost every rage, bait, hate watching for every TV show on my homepage. I can't get rid of it. I can't. Between all the DC movies, James Gunn, Snyderverse, Star Trek, and the Marvel, some of the horrible TV shows and movies that are on Amazon, War of the Worlds, Ice Cube. If you want me to do a review on that, let me know because I watched that and I wanted to, I thought and just like that was bad. No, we have hit a new low, people. I even asked someone in the comments, what is happening with the writing? And I can't say that, and just like that was the only one that has been affected by whatever virus is going on in Hollywood and the writers. I just think that they're just giving up at this point. They don't just who's giving them this money? How is this being done? It is so bad out there that at least I have this series that I can go back and enjoy and feel good. I mean, there's very little I've rewatched every other good show that I feel that it's good so many times. And I just cannot stand any of the new stuff that's coming out. Very minimal. So that's why I'm smiling. And this is a lot. And yes, it saddens me what happened and just like that. And I do truly believe that if they were really introspective and thought about what they did to us, the fans, SJP, Michael J. Ping, whatever the hell his name is, everybody else, except the crew. I don't blame the crew. And if they were to come back and say, listen, I'm sorry, we messed up. We gave it a shot. We tried something new. We heard you. We understand. And give us another chance. We're going to make this right. I really, truly believe that people will go back if they were to really fix what was broken, which is every single storyline, all of it, and start fresh. People will go back in droves to watch it, and with the hope of not being disappointed. Even if they were to come out and lie to us, because I won't believe that they apologize for anything. Okay. But I would respect the effort. I would. And I would like to see if they can make a change, and just make us forget make it like a dream sequence. Like it was all just a dream. It was just a dream, and start anew. I think they would do really well because people have love for this show. So we're going to go through this. It's going to be a long ride. And I cannot thank you all that have decided to stick with me. Not all my subscribers. I have gotten some new ones. So the most important thing to get this out there is for you to engage with me, share, spread the word, tell people that this is what Lena is doing. We're going to have fun because the more that watch it, the better it becomes for all of us. And we can have more engagement and more community. I'm very close to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you a lot. I appreciate that. And everybody that has given me a super thanks, thank you. I am not getting paid to do this. As a matter of fact, I pay to do this. Between my editing software, my time, I'm not getting anything out of it other than the fact that I make you guys laugh, and it makes me happy to make you laugh. So whatever you can do to push this out to the algorithm, it's most appreciated. And whatever you send me, I cry when I see the super thanks. I literally do. So, I won't cry for now. If you watch my videos, I go into these like rants of crying. So let's get into episode 4 of season 1, Valley of the 20-somethings. And I'm going to be transparent, was not my favorite. It's okay, but it kind of clicks into a lot of stuff that's happened before. So stay tuned. We're going to get into it. Valley of the 20-something guys. This was weird. So the first scene opens with Carrie and Mr. Big consistently bumping into each other in these different scenarios, whether it's at a bar, at a cab, at a party, at a bar mitzvah. It was very contrived. And as she's narrating, she's saying that she keeps bumping into Mr. Big, and it was almost like they were kind of dating. Okay. I'm going to tell you as a New Yorker, all those scenarios to accidentally bump into one person. Do you know how big New York is? No, seriously. Do you know? To bump into someone in so many different places at so many contrived areas is very unusual, especially in a cab at a bar mitzvah. I mean, okay, I wasn't buying it. Remember, this is Friday night. The girls are with me. They're with me throughout entire season 1, so I'll interject some of the comments that I remember making to them. And one of the comments was like, really? So they're going to push this narrative? Sure. Let's go with that. Okay. Let's pretend. So at the end, at the bar mitzvah that they bumped into each other, he says, hey, why don't we go out for a drink thing? So now that drink thing word is stuck in Carrie's head, because the next scene we have is with the girls at one of the openings of a restaurant. They never named the restaurant, but it's something that Samantha's PR firm is handling. And we have Charlotte, Miranda, and Carrie. And Carrie's going on about, the fact that Big is late and that they finally got together to make a date, but not really a date. I mean, this is really literally the language they're speaking about. He said a drink thing. Charlotte is happy because she thinks she has a new boyfriend and that he has money. He might buy a painting from her gallery. And Miranda is having F sex only with Skipper. We're still trying this relationship with Skipper. Thank God he is not in season 2. Okay, so we've established the dynamics of them standing outside of the restaurant waiting to get in, and Samantha's PR firm is handling it, so she's at the front door, the gatekeeper. So Carrie overheard the message that Big left to her stating that he wasn't going to be able to make it. Okay. As they go inside the restaurant, she is on a payphone, which, my God, do you know how long it's been since I've seen a payphone? This really goes back. Like you could tell we're in 1998. My God. And she's listening to the message and she's asking Miranda to listen to see if it was some sort of, I don't want to see you or I can't make it. She's asking her to listen to the message. And Miranda's like, I really can't tell. I don't know the tone. And at least Carrie is self-aware to say to herself that How desperate is she that she's asking for a friend to listen to a message because she thinks she likes a guy? See? Carrie did have some sense. The writers did know how to write her. It is ridiculous. My God. How old are you? 18? And even when I was 18, I didn't do... Don't quote me on that. Don't. I might have. But I was young. I'm going to use that excuse because I wasn't 33 years old like she was. Okay. So this whole thing is also to set up that they go to the table where Samantha is, and Samantha's with the chef of the restaurant who seems to be so popular and very young, in his 20s. They never say the age. They say in his 20s. Could be 21, could be 22, could be 25, could be 28 for all we know. And she is introducing his friend who's also in his 20s. And Carrie in her narration is like, oh, I forgot how cute 20-something guys are. Never say the exact age. I have to tell you, I never had that problem. I only dated either people my age, which was not hard, which was not easy to find at that time, or older men, which could be what's happening here. I can understand that. So the 20-something chef who's so hot is starting to tell Samantha that he has to leave the table because the New York Times critic is there. And as he's leaving, she makes out with him. And that after he leaves, she tells the girls, which is less Charlotte, only Miranda and actual Carrie, that, did I mention that she's sleeping with him? Well, yeah, I can tell, but okay, we'll go with that. And for some reason, the other 20-something guy has a thing with Carrie, and he got up from the table to get drinks. And as he went to the table to get drinks, left the table to get drinks, Skipper appears. Poor Skipper. Just a really bad written character. He came back with 2 drinks that they did not ask for because they were not making martinis anymore. And he came back with a rum and Coke, and Miranda's like, well, I hate rum and I hate Coke, so great, thank you. And I'm trying to figure out, why is she with this guy? How good is the sex? Really, Miranda. And the 20-something-year-old other guy comes back with the 2 drinks that they originally ordered because he knows the guy at the bar. It makes Skipper look like a fool, which is really not hard to do. It really isn't. And after that, we have 20-something-year-old bartender guy who knows the bartender take Carrie out to the side and leans against the bar and says, do you want to see something? He starts sticking out his tongue. And as he's sticking out his tongue, he has a piercing on his tongue. Okay. I don't remember that era. I could be wrong. If y'all were into that, let me know. I never dated anybody like that, to be honest with you. So as she's holding his tongue, Mr. Big comes by and notices that she's holding the guy's tongue. Apparently, he could make it. She misunderstood the message that he was going to try to make it. And that at the end of the day, he only had an hour and he was waiting outside for 30 minutes, looking for her inside for 20 minutes. And now it's only 10 minutes left and he has enough time to say goodbye. And good luck with the tongue. And let's try again some other time. Mind you, Big looks completely out of place. He is wearing a suit. And she does mention that he is 40 years old in her narration. And I'm like, dude, what? Like, this is the drink thing? Like, this was the intentional place that you would go? I mean, maybe she asked because it was the opening of Samantha's thing, but really? It was a very awkward thing, especially with 20-something-year-old. Like, okay. So I had to get into this episode, and I'm just relaxing, sitting back, and my friends are like, and I'm like, I'm not going to look at you until this episode is over. And then I will refrain myself from screaming at you after it's done. And they all started screaming, crying, laughing. because they knew that I was not going to like this episode. And as I think about it, and I think about my 3-year-old son, I was like, I have time. I don't have to worry about him. He's 30 now. His girlfriend is of his age-ish. And I don't know if he did anything like this, and he would not tell me, and I don't want to know. Next up, let's get into what the hell happened with these two 20-something-year-old guys with Samantha and Carrie, which was completely outrageous and fabricated, okay? No believe it. Stay tuned. Subscribe. So, as the 20-something-year-old guy takes Carrie and the other chef that takes Samantha, they head off to what they are calling, in the narration of Carrie, the 20-something club, which for me at that time was just a club, which I wasn't going to anymore because I was already a mom. But I got the reference. As they go in, Carrie starts to notice that everyone there is in their 20s. And she tells that to Samantha, and Samantha says, and so are we. I smirked like I smirk now. And I was like, not even with all the lights off in the world, Samantha. But I like the effort and the self-confidence. You crazy woman. So she ends up on the couch with the chef, John, with no H. And that's Samantha's boyfriend, or boy toy. We're going to call him boy toy because it's exactly what it is. A toy, little toy, little toy, little toy. Very Madonna. I don't know why, but I automatically thought Madonna. And Carrie's boy toy is on the couch, and he says, come on over, sit on top of me. And all of a sudden, as she's on top of him, she starts to ask, what is it like to kiss with that thing on your tongue? And that's it. They start making out right there on the 20-something-year-old club couch. And the next scene you have is the morning. Carrie is awoken by Samantha's phone call, and this was hilarious. And I can appreciate it then, and I appreciate it even more now because, oh my God, this was so missing in the show, though it was unrealistic. She tells Carrie, I am so effed up. And Carrie's like, what happened? Thankfully, she still has the presence of mind to be concerned about somebody else other than her. And Samantha says, I spent the entire evening having sex with 20-something. And I did it with him on top. We did it with me on top. We did it with me on my side, on my back. And then Carrie says, and him on his back? And Samantha says, yes. I couldn't hold back my reaction. I almost choked on whatever the hell I was drinking, and my friends were laughing because I didn't know what was going on. I was like, what does that mean? What do you mean? How is that possible? Yes, I was that naive. Okay. The next scene, well, not even the next part of the conversation, she asked Carrie, have you done that? And she's like, what did you do with your boy toy? And all she says, we kissed. And Samantha was very disappointed in her. I said, that's all you did was kiss? I'm like, I'm still trying to get over the fact that you were, whatever you were doing. So I couldn't even understand what was happening. And she's like, no, we kissed for 5 hours. I'm like, I don't even have 5 hours now, and I didn't have 5 hours then. I'm like, wow. And she was very happy about that. And then she also found out that he gave her his number on his arm. I remember those days. You remember those days before cell phones when you actually have to write things some places, or, hopefully you remember the numbers? Yeah. Wow, this is really dated, the show. And she was questioning herself, are the 20-something guys the new designer drugs? Because they have both, all of them, even Charlotte, I guess, has partaken into dating younger guys. So the question in her mind was, they get why they are interested in 20-something guys, because they're up for anything. They're young, they're energetic, there's no baggage, the same reasons why older men like younger women. Same crap, which it was great to see this in reverse, to be honest with you. As I unchoked myself from the drink and I put everything down because now I have to prepare myself. I'm like, oh my God, what is going to happen? And by the way, I have my Wonder Woman shirt on. Wonder Woman! Because I wonder what the hell is going on in this episode, okay? We have a montage of the men who responded to Carrie's question. What do these 20-something-year-old guys see in older women? We have one that says that they're up for anything. I'm keeping this clean because it wasn't clean. Okay. We have another one that says they give great head. We have another one that says they remind me of my mom. Thank God I wasn't holding anything because I almost screamed when I heard that one. And then we have Skipper, who says they're independent, they know who they are, and they're very proud of it. And finally, we see Skipper's age. Skipper is 27 years old. Thank God. We have an age now. And then the last one was a 17-year-old, and I am not going to repeat what he said. I'm not going to repeat what he said. I'm not going to repeat what he said. He said smart, the P word. And I was like, you know, if I was single, not single, if I wasn't a mom at that time, maybe I wouldn't have reacted the way I did. But I have a 3-year-old boy I'm raising, and I'm thinking, oh, shoot. I don't have a lot of time left for any of this stuff to happen. I thank God that if it did, I didn't know anything about it. And I say that because it's true. If he did it, I don't know. I don't know. And thank you, my son, if you ever watch these videos. Thank you. You kept your mom sane for the most part. Okay. I love you. So now that we finished the nightmare montage, and I'm glad, like I said, it was in reverse, because we always hear why guys want to date younger women. So I did appreciate the reverse transaction that was happening here, but those answers from the guys, it's pretty enlightening. Okay. Stay tuned, because it gets scarier. Just a little bit. Chipitito. Stay tuned. So after we go through the scariest montage that I've ever seen as a mother of a boy at that time, the next scene we have is Miranda and Carrie walking down the New York City street. And Carrie's like, shouldn't we be dating guys our age? And then Miranda's like, good luck finding one. Giuliani had them removed along with the homeless. Now, I remember that then, I remembered it now, and I remember laughing because if you were around for the Giuliani era of him being the mayor of New York, he cleaned up New York a lot. I have to give him credit where credit is due. He cleaned up 42nd Street tremendously. Okay, 42nd Street used to be an area where you couldn't even as an adult, you shouldn't be walking through there. It was really bad. What had changed was tremendous. So I kind of chuckled, and I remember chuckling, and I chuckled again. I'm like, yeah, that's when he was, there. And well, have you seen what's happening to him right now? It's not good. So Carrie is, saying that, okay, I got to run because, Miranda thought that she was going to have more time with her. But what she didn't tell Miranda is that she was secretly going to meet a 20-something-year-old guy. Okay. And she's meeting him to buy a new shirt in Banana Republic. Yet again, it's an overrated store. And I'm going to tell you, I don't remember where I shopped. I know I remember a lot, but I know I had clothes. I didn't walk out my house naked. I don't remember where I actually shopped. I did work in the city, so I'm going to say I bought a lot of office clothes. So I think Macy's was one of the big places that I did. But I was not a Banana Republic. I did Gap for jeans. But yet again, another overrated store was Banana Republic. And as they're twirling inside the fitting room, making out, she's narrating in her mind, over projecting, can this guy become more than just a kissing thing and be a boyfriend? I'm like, sure. Okay, Carrie. The kissing must be amazing. And then the next scene you have is she's getting ready to go on her date with Big finally. I guess they connected. And she's running around her apartment, and Charlotte picks up the phone to call her. She calls her and she says, listen, I got something to tell you. I don't know how to spit it out. And Carrie's like, well, tell me, because I'm running late and I need to get out of here. And she says, well, I can't just blurt it out. And the next thing you see is just Carrie says, meet me outside of your apartment in 10 minutes. So we don't know what Charlotte said, but none of my friends warned me either. So I gingerly started to pick up the drink again and eat the popcorn, much to my dismay, where I almost flipped out the couch after this. So now we're in the cab with Charlotte. And Carrie says to her, you need to tell me exactly how he said it. And Charlotte says that the guy that she was seeing says to her, we've been seeing each other for a couple of months now. And after dinner tonight, I want to go home and have anal sex. At least he's polite about it. I'm trying to find the silver lining in this. Poor Charlotte, poor Carrie. Carrie's like, okay. And I'm like, things are coming out of my mouth. My friends are laughing because, again, they all knew this was coming. And I'm like, so we went from Samantha with the boy toy, her on top. And now we have Charlotte, the doormat, whose boyfriend so nicely asked if he can have anal sex with her. We have Miranda. She picks up Miranda in the cab. And then Miranda is like, it depends on how you feel about this guy. Is it I've been dating for a while, or is this someone that you can envision moving and getting married and going to the Hamptons? And poor Charlotte's in panic mode. And I'm like, what? That's not exactly the question I would ask, but what? And Charlotte starts to panic, and then Carrie says, don't make her nervous. And then the next thing, Miranda's going off, if you let him do that, then he has the power. This goes on. And then Samantha comes to the cab and says, listen, a hole is a hole. And it's something that the body was meant to discover. And she's trying to rationalize this to poor Charlotte. And Charlotte's like, but I'm not a hole. And I'm like, and like, my friends are like, you need to cover your hole because you don't know what's going to get into it. I'm like, you know what? I hate you all. And she goes on to say, with the right man and the right lubricant, it could be absolutely fantastic. I appreciate Samantha. I am glad none of my friends are like Samantha, because if one of them would have told me that, I would have clocked them. Because I'm not a hole. And the next thing you see is that the cab, I guess, hits a bump, and they bump forward, and Charlotte's like, what the hell was that? And all three of them in synchronicity say, a preview. And that is why I like this show. Because, again, I go back to the writing. You bring up a subject that is the whole, and then you make this funny scenario, and you make it funny again. It's like how they pull you in and pull you out, and like, and if that's a preview, I no, but it was a great line, and I'm glad that they all said it. And poor Charlotte's like, and that would have been me. I would have really. People are just ridiculous. You're not helping me at all. I'm smiling because when you think back at this, they don't have this at all. And just like that, nothing. I can't even correlate this with anything that's connective tissue. It's just an original kind of show that had these funny moments that really made you think, what in the hell am I watching here? But I appreciated it. So it was great. Next up. Finally, the date with Mr. Big. Because that goes well. Stay tuned. We're here. Finally, the big date. Literally, the date with Big. So now, this time we have Carrie walking into a restaurant, a proper restaurant with seating and people and serving, a date thing. Even though he didn't call it a date, it's a thing. Big is waiting for her at one of the tables, and she finally sits down and says, finally. And we're alone. And of course, true to form, Big says, well, kind of, sort of, not. And then this guy shows up, Mr. Miserable. He sits down and complains that he's on his second divorce and that the second one is going to get more than the first one got. I've met this guy 1,000 times, always complaining. And what's worse even is that he is now scouting his next one at the next table. I'm like, and you wonder why you're in the predicament that you're in, you big 40-something-year-old ding-dong. Okay. So as the ding-dong leaves, and this is probably the first time I'm using a man as a ding-dong, because normally I leave the ding-dongs for the And Just Like That crew. So let's call him the doofus. Okay. Let's call the men the doofuses. Big looks at Carrie apologetically and says, with his little puppy eyes, he called me crying. What was I to do? And Carrie, and this is one thing I have to give Carrie, I like the way they wrote her for this scene. They actually, if you hear my door knocking, that's my delivery. Yes, because I don't have time to go out because I'm doing these videos for you. But I love you. She takes a swig from his drink at a girl and says, hey, listen, why don't you have a guy's night? I am going to leave because I'm late for my editorial for my column. And she takes out a wad of money and says, next drink is on me. And she gets up and he's like, are you serious? Are you mean it? And she's like, yeah, no problem. We can do our thing another time. And she saunters out of the restaurant and I'm like, good for you. Put down some rules and regulations. Have some cojones, some bolas, something to tell this guy that, hey, this is not okay. Does this happen very often? No, of course not, because we all know what happens. But at least it gave the character some growth for that moment. I was like, hey, good for you. So as she's walking, she narrates that she left her cap money at the table. So she was relegated to walk 40 blocks in her $400 shoes. If I look at the shoes, those are mules, which I know for sure she may have purchased the $400 ones, but I'm telling you, you could find them for much cheaper. But I'm not going to get into semantics because this will come back later, as we all know. Okay. She ends up at the 20-something-year-old club again, and she's looking for a 27-year-old guy or whatever his age is. And she finds him at the bar and she's like, she just needs something to get the edge off. So she wanted to make out again for another 18,000 hours, I guess. And they start making out. And then she starts to feel that it's not enough. It's not getting her the fix that she needed. Oh, please. We go over to Charlotte, who is in her bedroom with the up the butt guy. And she starts panicking and starts telling him, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be known as the up the butt girl. I want to, have kids and family. Nobody marries the up the butt girl. And she's going on and on about this. And I'm like, okay. And the guy just looks at her, can we have sex the regular way? And she's like, yes, please. And then they have sex the Charlotte way, the polite way on 300 thread count sheets. And I bring this up because this up the butt that she doesn't want to be known for will come back. Because there's another one that happens, and then the third one that freaked me out. And that's going to be in the next episodes. So remember this, because I'm going to bring it up again. Okay. Now, we saunter over to Samantha, who's finishing her sex session with John with no H, restaurant chef. And as she rolls over and he looks at her, he tells her, when you lay like that, you have the cutest little lines on your neck. And right there and then, Samantha rolls over to her side and narrates. I think Carrie's narrating. Yeah, Carrie's narrating. And she says, in Samantha's world, as long as she keeps dating younger guys, she's always going to be the older woman. Because having wrinkles on your neck at that age is very offensive to her, obviously. And that she quit cold turkey right there, dating younger men. Great. Interesting. Great. We do see that happen. You know what happens with Samantha. You know. Now we're off back to Carrie, who has not been able to get a fix from her kissing session with 20-something-year-old guy. Now she's in the bedroom and they're having sex and she's like, I'm all in, unlike Samantha, who has quit cold turkey. She's having the best sex of her life. She wants to keep this high and that she's very happy. And then she rolls over and all of a sudden she says, and the best thing about this afterwards, he spooned me. Mm-hmm. 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 You see these faces? This is me at the television set at that time when I'm like, uh-huh, uh-huh. And my friends are just like, uh-huh, uh-huh. I hate them. Stick to 'em. It's morning and we have Carrie who is waking up with 20-something-year-old guy after she had the spooning incident after sex, that she was such on high that she woke up wanting more until, the light shone on the room. And I have to tell you, this was frightening. She wakes up and the room looks like somebody living in a garbage dump. Seriously. I honestly don't believe for 5 minutes there were not rats and roaches. This is New York City. This guy had pizza boxes, he had trash, he had clothes everywhere, and this was his room. Okay? So she wakes up in shock, which she should, and she's narrating that, hey, maybe this was not a great idea. And the 20-something-year-old guy wakes up and he must have woken up high because the way he speaks, oh my God, I had this crazy dream about my father and some girl and he was dating her. So I don't know what the hell this guy was saying, but the way he was saying, I'm like, did you wake up on drugs? Because you didn't sound that bad while you were having the kissing session. And Carrie, all she wants is coffee. So she's like, where's the coffee? He's like, it's in the kitchen. So you see her coming down the stairs of this apartment and it's worse than what was upstairs. Okay. If I couldn't even understand this, I would have not even tricked. First of all, the fact that she's asking for coffee, that wouldn't have happened with me. I wouldn't have asked for coffee. I would have asked for a clear exit sign. Okay. Girl, get out of there. You were going to drink. Where would you? Worse yet, they show everything in the sink. There was not a single space not taken up by dirty dishes. And she still wants coffee. As he's talking crap. She's like, coffee, coffee. And she's holding this box of coffee. I'm like, get out, get out, get out, get out. Why do you girls do this? Is that some place you want to think that? Did you think he was going to give you a clean cup? Carrie, did you see what's going on? So she's looking to go to the bathroom and all you hear is her scream. And then I presume this guy has a roommate and Dracula comes out worse than what he is. She's in the bathroom and she's trying to pee. And she's like, I think that I made a big mistake, as she's narrating. And as her worst nightmare happens, she goes to look at the paper roll, and there's no more toilet paper. And she asks, hey, I need more toilet paper. And 20-something says, I used the last of it to make the coffee. These are the unrealistic things that I was talking about. No woman or person in their right mind. You know, this reminds me of the episode of Friends, right? When Ross goes over to that girl's house and she's a pig and she literally has like animals in her couch. It's the same thing, just elevated to another level. So the next thing you see is that she made it out of the hell house and she's looking to go to get whatever was she just experienced, and she goes to look at shoes. Yet again, this girl has a problem. Like seriously, like I realize how bad it is. Like I know it gets worse. I don't know if she took a steam bath prior to her going anywhere, but I don't understand. Did she go home first? Because I would have needed to get a power wash from anybody outside. I would like clean me off. Get me out. Get me out. Get me out. She goes into the store to buy the shoes, and then you see her walking out, and she's walking on one of the avenues in Manhattan, and she bumps into, grumpy old man, and he's on a date with grumpy old woman, and she's narrating, oh, why do we walk down the streets and we always bump into people that we don't want to see? And she's meaning that she wished they was Big. And lo and behold, Big comes out from the table. He was apparently trying to fix the table because it was a little wobbly. And she's like, hey, what are you doing down there? And then all of a sudden, she starts to tell him what the word puzzle, the word in the word puzzle, which is hinge. And he's like, what? She's like, hinge. And whatever the hell she says. She's trying to assert herself, saying that she's smart. I like it. I could roll with that. And she says, okay, well, thank you. See you later. Because he asked if she wants to join him. And she goes, no, I'm leaving. Good for you. As she's walking away, Big comes out and he chases after her. Oh, stops her and says, hey, why don't we do a dinner? Finally, she got what she wanted. He's saying dinner, not a thing. And her response is, well, I'm good at crossword puzzles. I'm just not good at people puzzles. And he goes, wherever you want to go. She had the power for like 2.5 seconds because you know what happens. And she's like, call me. Her little sly way. I'm like, good for you. I know it doesn't last, but I was in the moment. And I didn't know that back then. Remember, I had not seen the rest of the series, but I know what happens afterward. So she starts walking away and she turns around and he's looking at her. And then she narrates, it would have been great if I didn't turn around. Okay, sure, it would have been a New York moment. You didn't turn around. He would have been questioning. But I gave her credit. She put her foot down. She asserted herself. She didn't let him walk all over her. She got what she wanted. It wasn't a thing. It was an actual dinner anywhere she wanted to go. And he obliged, presumably. Because, he likes that. Okay, that's it. That's how it ended. Now, stay tuned for my epilogue. And while you're at it, if you have a minute and you're enjoying this, subscribe. Epilogue. Okay, I know I first started to say in the beginning of the video, this wasn't one of my favorite ones. I can still go back and say a little bit only because of the 20-something-year-old guys and what they saw in the older women and the frightening hellhole that she ended up in that apartment. But there were great moments with the, up the butt and the preview and all that. So it was pretty good. My friends were laughing because I was just sitting there. I'm like, y'all know I have a kid, right? With a boy. I have to raise a boy, right? But I was starting to lean into the show a little bit more. I do remember that in my son's 20s, when the lockdown happened, which was 5 years ago, so he was 25, he did get an apartment with two of his best friends that he grew up with in Hell's Kitchen. It was a 5-floor walk up. It was a huge apartment with an ensuite bathroom in one of the bedrooms, which is what he took. And the guys had their own bedrooms. And I remember going up the 5 flights of stairs that almost gave me a heart attack, but I did it for my child to see where he was living, because I was super impressed that he was in the city. He wanted to get out of, he wanted to do something different. And the deals they were giving out during the lockdown for these apartments were amazing. I remember saying to myself, oh my God, what am I going to get into? What if this is like a hellhole like this series? I was so afraid. I was pleasantly surprised when I walked in there. It was one of the most beautifully decorated, organized, clean apartment with 3 guys. I was like, whew. I did good. Mama Bear did good. And his 2 roommates, their parents did well as well. Because I was ready for a disaster. I was ready to do gymnastics. Okay? I didn't know what to expect. They were even cooking. So it was very interesting to see the parallel of what it was like in 1998 for these 20-something-year-old guys, and then watching my son grow up and doing what he was doing. So I was super impressed. What I can tell you is that I never wanted a cigarette after this episode so badly, and I didn't smoke. I would have done crack cocaine at that point. I was like, what incarnation is this? And between it being an it also reminded me of the episode in Seinfeld where, the group was trying to win the bet on who's not going to, masturbate. It was a cross between Friends and Seinfeld, but a much elevated, much more graphic tone. So I appreciated that. Now, how does this tie into In Just Like That? Well, it doesn't. Because In Just Like That doesn't have anything that remotely is funny. Now we see a little bit of the personalities again coming out. Carrie asserts herself. That doesn't last very long because she starts spinning out of control with Big. Charlotte has a few arcs that we're going to get into once that episode drops. And I'm going to refer back to this one because, child. Miranda is, being Miranda for this season. And I do know what happens after. And I'm so grateful that Skipper is not around anymore. But tell me how you felt. Did you like it? Do you remember it? Are you watching along with me? I hope you are. I hope you are watching along with me. I hope you're revisiting and getting those warm, fuzzy feelings again, remembering everything that was great about this show, about the writing. Fashion depends. I think it's overly done with the shoes and her obsession, but there's a reason for that, right? So, next up, on my next video, it's going to be episode 5, season 1. I cannot tell you again how happy I am to be doing this. I am smiling. I'm joyful. I'm revisiting. And it's all thanks to every single one of you who has tuned in, stayed with me. As I said in the beginning, the best way to help out as well, get this video pushed out, engage, comment, talk to each other, talk to me, like, subscribe, and also share. Share this video with whoever you need to share it with to get it out there because the best is yet to come. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to drop 2 videos a week. I'm making my effort because we're going to get through this. You and I, baby. You and I. So have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed day. Thank you. Goodbye. Mwah.